I'm super excited about everything that we're launching right now. So good morning to you guys. I just want to touch on some of that stuff right now. I know, like, for a fact, I got up this morning and we have to have a better routine in my house. Like a lot of you guys know, Zane just started school not permanently, but like full time. So it's a lot. And this morning I realized, I was like, he needs more time in the morning. I need more time in the morning. We just have to get a routine. And I think that's like, it's so key to so many aspects of our life. So like, I know we get on here and we talk business and stuff, but think about like just in general, your life. And so if you haven't, I know Jess talked about it on Monday. She started that in the Hustle and Slay, like a little checklist of things that you can do daily, not just in business, but in your life. And so that's why I commented on Aaron walking. I'm like, I either got to get up earlier and walk in the dark by myself, or you just have to start shifting things a little bit, because as entrepreneurs and as human beings, like if things are not working, we have to plan, do, review. And I'm going to do like goals today. And I want you to think about like, not just in social media, but in your life, in your business, maybe in your marriage, in your friendships. Like we all have things that we want to achieve, right? And if you don't, you're just lying to yourself. We all have things we want to achieve. And sometimes those things will seem unachievable, or, one of the things that I know that I'm working on getting better at is if it seems too far away for me, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm just not going to worry about it right now. And I just have to understand, as like many of us do, that anything is possible. You're capable of anything, even when you think that you're not able to do it and you're not capable of doing it, or you just can't have that way. Like I was just looking at my memories, because our wedding anniversary was 8 years ago yesterday. And just super funny. If it wasn't for Facebook, neither of us would have remembered. We literally walked by each other in passing and we were like, oh, happy anniversary. It was so like, I was like, oops. And he was too. I was like, ugh. But I thought I saw some pictures and it was super cool to me, because I remember getting married and we worked at Dollar Tree, and I was like, I do not know how we're going to be able to afford a wedding, how I'll be able to afford a dress. And I found this dress online for like $150, and I just took a chance on ordering it from China. It was like DH Gate or something. And I just remember the night of my wedding, everyone thought I had this like couture dress, like that was perfectly made for my body. And long story short, it was not. It was a chance I took. And I just think sometimes we get so caught up in the how am I going to get there? And it's funny, when I started moving, I just retaped this to my computer. This is how old this is. Okay. It's really crusty. Don't judge it. But it says, don't have to know how, know it will. And I stuck that there because I get caught up in the how sometimes. You have to focus more on knowing it will. There's a lot of construction going on in my neighborhood too. So sorry if it gets a little loud. My dog's a little freaked out by it. But I think that's just something like, so even when we're focused on business and our social media goals and where we want our business to be, a lot of us focus, and you don't have to say it, but I know for a fact, a lot of us focus on how am I going to get that? How is it going to get there? And if we focus on more knowing it will, like, okay, I'm going to start being consistent on my Facebook lives, instead of going, well, how am I going to build all the content? How am I going to go live 2 times a week? How am I going to find the time? Just go, you know what, if I start doing it, I'll get there. And if we focused more on the stair than the entire staircase, and I do the same thing. That's why I love being on here with you guys, because I feel like it's a very vulnerable spot where I can say, hey, I go through the same crap. I do the same thing. I just had my brother the other day, my own brother who doesn't have a Facebook, literally just asked me the other day. He's like, how come I don't see you like doing lives anymore and stuff? And I was like, first of all, how did you see me? You don't even have a Facebook. Second of all, you right. Like, I'm going to get on it. I'm going to get on it. So when I heard Jess talk about goals on Monday, I was like, all right, I want to do goals too. Because I think, as we get into the end of the year, a lot of us have kids back in school, or maybe, things just shift. I know for me too, like when the summertime slows down, I'm sad about it, but I'm also happy because it creates this like more structured routine for me. And I'm a very like structured routine person. And it just helps me feel like I'm getting more stuff done, right? Can I get an amen? I will be sad though, because it's cold here in Michigan today. So, and I'm just not ready yet. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we can do to help you achieve your goals on social media with your business, and maybe more of not focusing on the how and focusing on more of what will happen, what could happen. And I think for me, especially, I love, if you guys don't know, like Facebook has those memories where you can go click on the memories. I love to go back to like the furthest memory, let's say like 8 years. I think I've only been on Facebook for like 8 years, but you go back to the furthest memory, even just look at that version of you and look at the version of you now. I guarantee you they're two totally different people. And I guarantee you that person 8 years ago or 5 years ago, when you're looking at it, you didn't think you would be the person that you are now, no matter what that looks like for you, right? Maybe you're just showing up a little bit more positively on there. Maybe you're just showing up more on there. Maybe you didn't post anything 5 or 8 years ago, so you have nothing to look at. But that's one of the things too I share with people is like the fun part about the memories is you actually got to do it, because then you're not going to have memories if you're not doing it, if you're not showing up. Oh, I think my dog's having a bad dream. That was weird. Sorry. So I want you to set some goals today, and I'll do a couple of them with you and a couple things for you to kind of think about. Cringe button, what Aaron said 10 years ago. I know that's right. My Facebook post used to be just lyrics from songs, and I'm not sure why anybody didn't stop me. And it was Lil Wayne songs too, but we'll save that for another day. It was horrible sometimes, some of the things I put on there. I'm like, hopefully I wasn't friends with my parents at that point, because that's unacceptable behavior. Anywho, so I want you to worry less about the distractions and everything else, the platforms, the algorithms, the blah, 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 and focus exactly on what your goals are. Because I know for me too, I love to teach you guys like the analytics of things, the when to post, when's the best times, the repurposing of stuff. But the honest truth is that my goals and your goals are very different. My audience and your audience, every single one of us on here is going to have different goals and different audiences and different things we're looking for in our business. So if you've got to eliminate the distractions and say, okay, where am I going? What am I wanting to do? Where do I want my social media to take my business? So I think most of us are here working good, solid businesses on our social media and trying to at least inspire and impact. That was one of my things this morning. I posted on Jess's thing. I was like, today is about joy and impact, because that's what I love to do. It makes me happy. So, and I know like with, especially the last 2 years, there's been so much going on social media that I feel like there's a lot of distraction, emotion. And I tell you guys here, and take it with a grain of salt. I know a lot of us want to participate sometimes in some of the distraction on social media. Some of us want to participate in the emotion on social media, and I get that. I just want you to understand, and I can't really think of a better word than repercussions right now, but because that just sounds negative, but what can happen, think about all of the things that can happen when we do participate in that. And so sometimes what I do too, especially if I'm like irritated with maybe something that's going on in the world or life or whatever, I just call a Haas or I call my mom. I get it out. I spend about 5 minutes on it, and then I move on instead of making, a big post. I've seen lots of people lately, not necessarily here, I would say, but lots of people lately, like making posts about what's going on in the world. And I get it. But do you ever see the comment section of that? Like, it's totally negative. It makes you want to get off Facebook permanently. Like, I've seen lots of people making posts lately, like, I'm getting off here permanently. Like, I can't handle it. And that's another thing, like I said last week, if you're feeling that way about your page, go audit through your friends list. Like, you do not have to be friends with people who are super negative. And I promise you, your life will change when you cut them off. I'll hand you the scissors. Don't worry about it. They'll be just fine. So think about that. Like, when you're using these platforms, like, what's your goal and what you're using them for? Is it to grow your business? Is it to maybe grow your following? Is it to create a brand? It can be all of those things if you want it to, right? But I don't think a lot of us are using it as a platform to argue with people or to, start negativity or anything like that. I think most people here, we all have negativity. Like, let's be honest. Okay. It happens to the best of us. I had a rough day yesterday. I'm just being honest. I don't know why. It was very overwhelming. I wanted to smash my head against the wall, but you didn't see me going live saying, oh my gosh, today's the worst day ever. And I just can't get out of my own head. And I'm so overwhelmed, right? I just stuck positively, because that's the kind of brand my goal wants to be built on social media. when people come to my page, I want them to look at it and, again, not say that I'm not a human, but what do I promote? What's my goal here? I want people to come to my page and be happy and be joyful and maybe laugh a little bit and feel motivated and feel inspired. I don't want them to come and, be like, oh, that's really sad. I want to be sad with her. And we all have sad days, but sometimes you got to find an accountability partner. And that's one of the things that I love what we're doing about the Hustle and Slay page is go in there. And I don't care if you guys are in the same company, state, universe, whatever, find someone in there you can link up with and have an accountability partner. It's almost even better if you guys have no connection, like no bias, because one thing I love about accountability, and you guys know Jess is one of my really good friends. So having her as an accountability partner is great for lots of reasons, but she's still hard on me. Like, she does not give me any like, oh, you don't need to hear that today. Like, oh, that's okay. She's the type like, get your crap together. And that's exactly the type of person I need. So maybe too, when you're looking at your accountability partner or you're looking for one, kind of find one that's going to push you. Okay. Because if you're finding one that's like, oh, you didn't post today. Are you okay? It's okay. Maybe you want someone and need someone that's like, come on, you can do this. Just find like a quote about tacos and get it up there. Like, I know I'm having a rough day too, girl. Like, sometimes, majority of the time, we need someone that's going to push us out of our comfort zone in all aspects of our lives. But so that's one of the things like too, that whole group is going to focus on is helping other people find their biz besties, find their accountability partners, find people that are going to help them grow in all aspects of their lives. Because right now, you think about the people that are around you, you probably have a bunch of people and friends, but nobody's giving you that little extra shove. And that's probably why you show up with us every Monday and Wednesday, because you need that little shove, right? I know I do. So I want to help you prioritize some goals today and think about like, what happens if you fail to prioritize, right? You get sad, you get overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, I'm literally realizing what happened to me yesterday. I failed to prioritize. That's what happened. Literally you miss targets, you miss goals. And then what happens when you do that, right? Oh, hi, Mandy. Yes, go shopping for an accountability partner. I love it. When you do that, and I know, especially as an entrepreneur, but as a woman, I get on myself about my productivity, maybe a little bit harder than other people, but when you are in that spot of achieving your goals and doing all the things you want, don't you feel really good? Most of the people feel really good when they're achieving things that they set out to do. And it's when we don't that we get on ourselves. We're harping on ourselves like, oh man, you can't do this. Oh, you suck at this, right? But we didn't prioritize the goals and what we wanted to do. And, one of the things I did this morning, I was like, you know what? I got to get back on my game of posting every single morning about my gratitude. I used to write it out. And I remember, and again, don't harp yourself, because I'm not going to get in the spot of why did I stop that? Well, what was I doing? It doesn't matter. I'm starting it again. Because I remember people messaging me saying like, oh, I'm doing gratitude with my son now, or I'm doing gratitude every single morning. Thank you for doing that. And I'm like, okay, I got to get back on that. It also holds me accountable to doing it for myself, because it's an important part of my routine. So think about, what are you going to focus on? Especially what channels are you going to focus on? So like platforms, like the first part of it is going to determine where you're going to focus. So your goal of what you're going to focus on. Don't sit here and go, oh my gosh, okay. In a year ago, because I was listening to, we're revamping our podcast. I know Jess said that on Monday, but I was listening to some of our old episodes. A year, maybe it was 2020 actually. I did a goals podcast about all of the platforms, right? And at that time, first of all, does anyone know what happened to Omegle? I don't even know. Was that a thing? But I said it like 3 times in the podcast, so I had to go Google it. I'm like, what is Omegle? I don't even know what I was talking about. But that was a platform apparently. Then we had TikTok. Remember Clubhouse? Does anyone still on there? I don't know. Remember that though? Remember Facebook, Instagram, all the places, Snapchat, Twitter. So we have all these things. And a year or 2 years ago, there was 5 or 6 or 7 of them, and most of them fell off. And what happens is we just get overwhelmed with the amount of places that we need to post. We think we need to post, and we just don't do anything, right? I think I'm going to have a new quote instead: confused people do nothing, so overwhelmed people do nothing too. They do nothing too, because you're so overwhelmed. You don't even know where to get started. Choose the platform. And when you choose that platform, I want you to think of a couple different things. Number one, where do you feel most comfortable showing up? If Instagram makes you feel cringy, don't worry about it right now. Okay. And you can repurpose posts, but you don't need to do anything special for that. If where you get majority of your leads for your business or your engagement from is Facebook, then that's where you probably need to prioritize as, hey, this is my platform. And I'll be honest with you guys, no matter what, in the last 7 years, all of the platforms that have ever shown up, and I've had almost 1 million views on TikTok, still the place where I have the most engagement, the most lead generation, the most following is Facebook all day long. And I know some kids say it's for old people, then call me an old person. I don't mind. Because that's a good place. I feel like that's just a solid place where I've grown my business consistently. So determine what part of that, where are you going to focus on? And some of the other things you can think about when you're focusing, right, is where are you most active right now? And not active by showing up. Like when you pick up your phone and you go to do something, where do you go? Where are you checking out? Most people are jumping on Facebook like first thing in the morning, which, man, I highly do not recommend doing that. Like read or something first. Where do you see the most potential for growth? And I can give you, just like I said, I find the most potential for growth on Facebook. You can make 2, 3, 4 profiles with 5,000 followers, but I don't want to say that that's what you need to do. Okay. But where do you see the most potential for growth? Where do you see, and I know we've kind of talked about this before, but like, I have a few people that I follow on social media that like, when I grow up, I want to be like them. Right. And they're on my vision board. I follow a lot of the things that they do. I mimic a lot of the things that they do because I see that it successfully works for them. And maybe that person is here in this group and maybe they're not. Maybe they're in a different company. Maybe they're in a different industry. It doesn't matter. Start finding some people on social media that you want to look at and go, wow, I want to be like that when I grow up. I want that type of following. I want that type of aesthetics, if you will. There's a girl on Instagram. I love her. Her name is Pink Sparrow, and she wears the same pink blazer every day, all day, all her videos, all her stories. Sometimes I wonder, like, if she ever forgets to do it, but she doesn't. I've never caught her forgetting to do it, but it's a brand. It's an aesthetic that she's created, right? Like, cause now I think pink blazer, I immediately think of her and her posts and her reels and all her stuff that she does. I want to be like her. I want to have that brand that people shift. And when they see a pink blazer at Marshall's, they're like, Sydnee. Maybe I'd be like a hot pink. She does a baby pink. So it's not for me. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Find a person and say, where are they successfully showing up? What are they doing that's working for them? And how can I mimic that in my own way, right? Like for a while, don't get me wrong, I love Jessie Lee Ward, but for a while I was like, man, I don't know if I can go live all day long. I don't know. It scared me a little bit. Okay. And I love her and I love her business, but there are things that I realized, okay, I probably need to do what fits best for Sydnee and what works best for me, but also right. I realized with her lives work. So I'm going to do it. And I shifted right to that. One of the other things is when you use these questions, right? Where do you want to show up? Where's the most potential for growth? Where's successful? Shift it all to you and your goal and what you want for your business, not what anybody else is doing. And I realized in the last couple of months, because, again, like I was saying in the beginning, I know I haven't been showing up as much as I want to. And that's why I wanted to do this goals topic today. But I also, Haas and I were saying last night, he's like, babe, you literally like have gotten more done in 3 weeks than you have. Like if someone came into my life and actually like saw, to them, it's probably a lot. To me, it's not enough. Okay. And I'm like, I need to get back on my weekly lives. I was doing lives all the time. I'm not going to harp on myself about it though. I'm just going to set my goals and know exactly what I need to do. But there's things that I realized in this time of stepping back and evaluating myself and my business. One of the things was I do a lot of inspired action. And so I know we content build and we content create. And I'll just give you guys a little appetizer. I have so much stuff that I'm going to drop inside the Hustle and Slay group for you guys. Everything from like 365 days of content to different workshops to all, It's endless. Okay. It's endless. And that's what I love to do, is serve that kind of content to you. So all that will be in there, but that might not be for you. And I looked at that and went, I'm more of an inspired action person. Don't get me wrong. There will be days where I get super rushed and I love just to grab an old quote that I have and call it a day. Right. But then there's days where I just feel inspired to talk on something, inspired to go live, and I just, click the button. It's not planned. It's not any of that stuff. So figure out what works best for you. You might need a little bit of structure to get started. Maybe you need that content calendar or that content creation and say, hey, you know what? I actually need a week of like what to say so I can actually just get started and take off on my own and start building more content on your own. And I've said it before, but I'll say it to you guys so I'm blue in the face. If you don't have content ideas, I want you to start picking up a podcast, start picking up a book. All those things will help you create content. If you're going, I don't know where to create content from, start doing things like that. Start reading. Or listening even on Audible. Like, I'm listening to a really awesome book right now. It's called The Most Powerful Woman Is You. And it's different because I listen to a lot of books towards our industry and network marketing. And she's actually an auctioneer, like a professional auctioneer. But it's just cool to hear like the different things that she talks about as an entrepreneur and as a successful woman. And like yesterday, I was listening in the chapter, this is total squirrel moment, but she lied to her boss and told her boss that she had a job offering for 4 times the salary, and she didn't. But she went in and she said she didn't cry when she went in. She cried before so she could get it out. And then her boss offered her the same deal to stay. And a year later, she told him she actually never had a job offer. And he told her, he goes, I know you didn't because you didn't cry. But think about if we all stepped into that powerful being that we know we can be, right? It's about exactly like I was saying, you don't have to know how, just know you will. So all that types of stuff, right? Always help me create content, the books, the podcasts, like filling my mind with other things, because yeah, you can only get on and talk about you and your life so much, right? Or your business so much. A lot of the reasons that people will start following you is because you're inspiring them. You're serving them with good value. And of course, we always want to be dripping our business, our product, all that kind of stuff. But what I find is you pull them in by things that really attract them, like motivation, like things that, oh, I needed that. Or I love when people say that to me. If someone says I needed that to me, like I'm done for the day, my cup is overflowing, or, I felt that, all that kind of stuff just makes me the happiest person in the world. That's what they'll stay for, though. They'll stay to keep feeling that feeling around you, keep feeling like they're motivated, keep feeling like they can have more and want more. And then we drip the business and the lifestyle and the product and all that kind of stuff on them, like in between all that stuff, right? So if you're struggling with that, go back to start reading things and listening to books. And you guys, I love you. And I mean this with the utmost importance and respect in my heart. But if you sit here and tell me you don't have time to do it, you are lying to me and you. And I don't care if you lie to me, but don't lie to you. You stop listening to music in the car. I love music more than probably anybody, but I don't listen to music in the car because I don't have a lot of time to listen to books and podcasts. So I use that time when I'm in the car to listen to books. Whole ride home from the airport yesterday, I had a nice solid hour and 6 minutes to myself. Just listen to the book, right? I also did get lost. So make sure your GPS is on too. But you have time. You just have to make time. Get up earlier. Like I was saying to you guys right before I got on here, my routine needs to get better in the morning because I'm feeling a little rushed. And I also just, I might shift to 9 o'clock like Jess, just because the drop off with Zane and the getting home and it just makes me feel I've learned about myself. If I feel rushed, I start feeling overwhelmed and I don't perform as well as I want to. So think about that too in your routine. If you're getting up first thing in the morning and you're going through Facebook and you're laying there for an hour and then next thing you know, you feel super overwhelmed, maybe you should take that hour to do some of the checklists and hustle and slay, gratitude, exercise, read a little bit. I'm not telling you have to listen to a book every single day. Take 20 minutes and listen to a podcast episode. Take 20 minutes and listen to a little chapter of something. I guarantee you will find something in there that will help you create content on social media. A post, a live, a whatever. Like I guarantee it. And I'm looking at my notes here. Sorry. One of the things that I think about too is most people that don't have the content, right, are still just posting because they want to post. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. You're better off not posting when you do that. because you're not posting intentionally. You start getting discouraged because nobody liked it, but you were just hurrying up and posting because you had to run to Kroger or whatever you had to do, right? If you actually spent time on just building and growing yourself, you would create valuable content. So maybe today too, one of your goals for your social media, I know it sounds whack to people, but maybe one of today's goals for you is to start a book, Audible, reading. Maybe it's to start listening to a podcast in the morning. There are so many good podcasts. I mean, I have Spotify. I'm a Spotify person. I don't know about Pandora if they have podcasts, but you can have, I mean, you can type in there anything. I found one this morning about affirmations, and it's a guy, he just sits there and reads affirmations for 30 minutes. And I was like, this is perfect. I need to listen to this in the morning. But you're going to find something that jives with you, right? And helps you create and build more content. Because I promise you, I'm not smarter than any of you guys. I'm not savvier than any of you guys. I just make more time to figure out a podcast or listen to an Audible to create content. That's it. We're all equal here. It's just a matter of how we're spending the time that we have and what our goals are. Are your goals, and I think most of you guys would agree with me, most of our goals as entrepreneurs and as business people is to create motivation and impact and inspire people. Of course, the money, the business, all that stuff's going to follow. Let's be honest, right? But there's no better feeling than like people being motivated by you, people being inspired by you, people joining you because they just said, because you're you. Like, I just want to be with you in your business because you're you and you make me happy and I want to do this and blah, 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 right? And a lot of that is just authentically being yourself and showing up. So maybe one of your goals today too, I know people probably think it's very simple, but maybe it's, I'm going to start consistently showing up. And like I was just saying, I don't care if you lie to me, but it's worse if you lie to you, okay? Get a Post-it out, write it in your notes every morning, put a Post-it on your mirror. I'm consistently showing up. And if you, what's the right word? If you don't follow through, just like Jess was saying about the laser hair removal, right? If you don't follow through, like a child, take something away from yourself. I do it all the time. If I don't do what I'm supposed to do that day, believe me, I harp on myself harder than anyone else. I don't even need anybody extra. But if I don't do what I need to get done, then I'm not getting, what I wanted to do tomorrow. If I wanted to go do this and have a little bit of extracurricular time, nope, you're not doing it because you didn't do what you said you were going to do that day. Our brain is wired that way. And if you do something and then you reward yourself, even with something simple, you guys, I'm not saying you have to go out and do something crazy, right? But maybe you say to yourself, today, if I go live, I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a margarita, whatever. Maybe that's what you want, right? There is a wire in your brain saying you just did something, you rewarded yourself, it's achievement. And it's literally like a shot of dopamine to your body where you get like euphoric because you're rewarding yourself for something that you did. And the same thing goes for taking something away, because next time you go to do something and you're like, last time I didn't do that. And I had to, not go out with my friends or not stay up late and watch my Netflix series or whatever. The next time you're going to feel that way of, oh crap, let me just do this really quick. It is not that hard. And then I can reward myself with exactly what I want. And I find I know it's 9, so I'm going to leave you with this. I find so many times that we're following a lot of people on social media that say, do this, don't do that. Like a lot of people I was just saying, and there's a lot of different trainers and there's a lot of different opinions. You just need to do what works best for you. If someone says, don't do this, but it works really well for you, then don't listen to them. And I'll be the first one to tell you that, even if it's me, because you have to do what works best for you. Or you're never going to be able to say, oh, that worked or that didn't work, or, oh, I needed to shift that after a while. And if you're looking right now and things aren't working already for you, you need to shift it. And small shifts can be like going live. And you can start with talking in your stories. Start talking in your stories once a day. I love Jess and Aaron doing them in the morning when they're walking. Such a very simple way to show up in your stories. You're also talking, you're getting over the fear of being in front of the camera. You're showing up though. And then think about it. Most of us too, I know I'm hard on myself for this. If I don't show up in my stories enough, I'm always like, crap, I got to get something in there. Again, it's so much easier if you start your day with things in there. Start your day with doing the things in the checklist in the page and record it while you're doing it and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Think about all the people on your social media that might be looking for someone like you to lock arms with in accountability. go on there and say, hey, you know what? I'm in this group right now and we're doing things together and I'm kind of looking for an accountability partner. You could find someone all the way across the world that's going to hold you accountable, or the state that's going to hold you accountable for walking in the morning, right? Sometimes we just have to focus on more of what our goals are and not worried about like what other people are doing, unless it's working for them and you believe that you can bring it into your life, or just shift it a little bit too. Like I was saying, I love going live. It's not going to be all the time though. But I shift it into what works best for me and my life and my family. So I think it's super important that you just focus on what your goals are. Don't make these crazy, goals that you want 100,000 followers by the end of the year. That stuff, to be honest with you, does not matter. I know lots of people that have 6-figure businesses and they don't even have 10,000 followers. So it's not, detach yourself from stuff like that. Don't put on your goals like I want 100 likes or I want 10 people on my live. Like, no, that's just, say I want to go live consistently. Say I want to build more relationships online. I want to have a lead list that's 10 people long. It's people I'm actually having conversations with. I want to repurpose more content. I know that's a big one for me too. I want to get way better at repurposing all my content. That way, at the end of the day, I'm on every platform I want to be on with a click of a button and not having to like worry about it. Focus on 3 goals. And I think what I want to do is inside the Hustle and Slay page is I'll make a little thread. And if you want, and I think it would be important because if you are wanting to start holding yourself accountable, you've got to start with you. Go in there sometime today and put 3 goals and let us help hold you accountable to those goals. Because I think that's a big reason. When you do it in front of people, then people are going, hey, Shar, you said you were going to go live and you didn't do it. That's exactly what happens to me. And I'm telling you guys, that's why I'm like, when I hear people tell me you didn't go live, I haven't seen you go live in a while. I'm like, I get this cringe in my body. I'm like, oh gosh, I have to do it. So I'm also going live after this. But anywho, let's make a thread in there. Let's share our goals. Maybe it will help and inspire other people to create their own goals and to also follow through. So I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time.